Maize farmers count losses as dry spells caused crop failure in Kenya's North Rift region. Elsewhere, South African soldiers deployed to quell the violence that erupted following Zuma's jailing. These and more coming your way on the news desk. It's 3:25 in Banjul. You are watching the news desk live on iAfrica TV, and I am Julden Yaisware. Now the news in detail. The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission on Tuesday awarded its major partners for supporting the mandate of the Commission for the past 3 years. Institutions such as the United Nations, the International Center for Transitional Justice, and the Catholic Relief Services were awarded their certificates of appreciation on Tuesday. Fatoumata Kasim has the rest of that story.
In December 2017, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission was established with the mandate to investigate and produce a historical record of the nature, causes, and intent of violation of human rights under the rule of former President Jammeh. The commission was staffed to pave the way for reparation and reconciliation engagements on the basis of the Never Again slogan. Barely a month after the completion of the public hearing, and few days to the much-anticipated delivery of its recommendations, the TRRC decided to award major partners for their support and commitment to the mandate of the Commission. Deputy Chairperson of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, Adelaide Sose, used this opportunity to define the role of the TRRC partners.
You walked the talk with us. You felt our pain, and you accompanied us when we were down, when we needed resources, when we needed technical advice, when we just needed a word of comfort. The individual staff members were always there to guide, to support, and to just be there for us. And for that, we are extremely grateful. The TRRC, as it closes, would want not only your institutions, but the Gambia and the world at large to know that we value the help that you gave, we appreciate it, and we acknowledge it.
Director of Administration and Human Resources, Hadi Jallo, said the group identified for the award have lived the test of time with exceptional support to the TRRC.
We have selected 5 major donors, and the underlying word being major donors. Because if we want to say we're going to give awards to every single person that has helped the TRRC in one way or another, then I guess we'll be here the whole day. But we have chosen 5 major donors, and we want the whole world to know what they have done and contributed to the success of the TRRC. Without these 5 donors, it would have been very difficult for us to actually complete our mandate. And I will start with the UN system. The UN system has been with us from the get-go. They basically, as soon as the TRRC Act came, they actually came and said, you know what, let us work with you guys. And they have started from the beginning, and they're actually still working with us.
The UN Resident Coordinator, Sarafine Wakana, expressed happiness in welcoming the award as she hopes for a longer partnership that will see the implementation of recommendations from the TRRC. Ms. Wakana received the UN award as both an honor and in recognition of the great work done by the TRRC in the Gambia.
The TRRC in the Gambia has been an example for different countries. It's cited in all the meetings when we talk about reconciliation, when we talk about reparation, when we talk about never again. So for us, I believe the partnership that we built with the TRRC will also serve as an example for other work we are still doing. And as the UN Resident Coordinator, I want to commit myself and the entire UN in the Gambia that We are supporting the TRRC. We are waiting for the report. And we will be happy to support and continue. We are really eager to see the implementation of the recommendations from the report we are going to submit.
On May 28th, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission concluded public session after 871 days of hearing that involved testimonies from 992 witnesses with harrowing and sometimes inspirational tales of dictatorship. The TRRC confirmed that at least 250 people were sent to their graves on the orders of former President Yahya Jammeh, who ruled Gambia from July 1994 to January 2017. He was forced into exile to Equatorial Guinea after his defeat in 2016 presidential election that brought in Adama Barrow as coalition leader. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Fatoumata Kasim.
TRRC presented certificates to partners for supporting Gambia's transitional justice process. Now the majority leader of the National Assembly looked into the pending matters to be adequately responded by various ministers. Keba Kebaro spoke on the presence of hippos in the village of Nyani and Janjambure, which in recent years has threatened the lives of the farmers and their plantations. Details in this report.
Despite their threats to lives of the farmers, hippopotamus are the third largest terrestrial mammals in the ecosystem. Over the years, the lawmakers have raised concern over the safety of farmers and their crops from the jaws of these big creatures from rural communities in the Central River region. But it appears to the majority leader of the House, Keba Kebaro, that the hippo stories are only told when there is already a disaster.
But one other thing is the hippos. Nyani and Janjambure are always talking about these hippopotamus. And the Ministry of Environment is saying that these are endangered species and they need to be protected. But what are they doing to ensure that the farmers also are not, their farms are not destroyed and seedlings are done at the end of the harvest, they go home with nothing. I think those are key issues that the minister needs to look into.
Time to time, these wild animals would choose to walk out their survival of the river, creating panic among the population. Residents in Janjambure and her surrounding rely on Gambia Army to suppress tension whenever the hippo is out and about on their fields. Honorable Barrow shifted some attention on the implementation of policies needed to develop national languages through the formal education system.
Another area that was also looked at, the issue of non-formal education. I think this is very important, and we are running into the fourth year now. Our experts in the National Assembly are still talking about this. So I think it is high time that the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education and Higher Education come up with a linguistic policy that will help us to be able to learn about our national languages. Because children learn these things at the early age. If they are not able to do these things properly, it is going to be very difficult for them to catch up. Because in some of the rural areas, we still do not have early childhood education programs. But we have very good policies on national languages that will help these things. And I think that needs to be revived, and AMFIL has to come on board, and they need to expand that area.
The National Assembly member for Combo South enjoined ministers to adopt the state media as medium of communication on all executive activities to keep the people informed.
The GSM operators and the cheating that they are doing here, but the coordination between the ministries also. Information is not flowing between the land ministries, so they don't know what X and Y is doing. And I think the ministry need to coordinate that and be able to put everything together so that we use the national broadcaster GRTS in all activities that we are doing, so that the population is informed, and that will enable us to know the programs and activities at the level of both ministries, departments and agencies in this country.
During the session, ministers took the floor to answer to questions by parliamentarians on different national development matters. Among the bills debated for enactment are the ones on access to information and the much awaited Persons with Disability Bill. Khadijatu Seka, iAfrica News.
Majority Leader Keba Kebaro called for the protection of rural communities from hippopotamus. Now, farmers in Kenya's North Rift region have started counting losses as their maize crops start to wilt due to the effects of climate change. Kenya's long rains, which usually starts from March to May, haven't been experienced in the Rift Valley region, which is classified as the country's grain basket. Farmers are now blaming the weather forecast for giving wrong information. We have more of that in this report.
Maize farmers in many parts of Kenya usually get good harvests and profits, but this largely depends on the climate. One of those areas that has always had bumper harvest is Uasin Gishu County. However, it is now facing challenges in growing maize. The crop is a staple food in most East African countries. Jackson Kwambai is one of the farmers counting losses.
I planted 50 acres of maize, but this time round I will get nothing. Even feeding the cows will be impossible because there is no maize crop, and that's a big loss for us. We took loans from financial institutions and chipped in with our savings, but we will end up empty-handed. Financial institutions.
But the shift from rain-fed to irrigation-based maize production is still hard for many of the farmers, and depending on weather forecasts has also proven to be difficult.
We have been getting weather information, but it's not reliable. The information isn't correct. At times, it indicates that there's 60% chance of rain, but you won't even see a single drop.
Now, despite the maize planting letdown, he decided to venture on horticultural practice, which, according to him, brings more yield and, of course, more profits. That shift is giving him hope as he has ventured into growing tomatoes, cabbages and spinach due to the lessons he learned from inconsistent rain patterns. He also pumps water from a nearby river to irrigate his garden.
I have workers and I have to maintain them so that they don't look for work because of the maize failure. I use this land for income to pay workers and to sustain my family.
The State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2021 report focuses on complementary food system solutions.
Dry spells caused crop failure in Kenya's North Rift region. Now, Ethiopia's Prosperity Party was declared winner of last month's national elections in a landslide victory. The ruling party won 410 seats out of 336 contested in the federal parliament. The elections, which was postponed twice due to COVID-19 pandemic and logistical issues, was largely peaceful, but opposition parties decried harassment and intimidation. Details in this report.
The National Electoral Board of Ethiopia has already declared Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's Prosperity Party the winner of the 6th general elections of the nation. The party won 410 out of the 436 seats of parliament. People now expect the elected leadership to deliver on all fronts, including peace, economic growth, education and more.
As the youth of the nation, we support Prosperity Party 100% and would like to see all kinds of changes for the party, especially in making Ethiopia a prosperous nation in Africa and the world. We expect them to finish the construction of our grand dam and generate power. I hope we will maintain unity.
What we expect from the Prosperity Party is addressing the skyrocketing prices on everyday items. People are being seriously affected by the ever-soaring prices. We elected a party believing that it will address all these issues.
I want the winning party to look at the youth of this country. Most of us are unemployed, and we want to change that status as soon as possible.
Over the next 5 years, Abiy's party has already set out plans to transform the nation. What is known as homegrown economic reform is set to take the country's economy to the next level by focusing on the mining, agriculture, industrial sectors, as well as the energy sector. This is, of course, alongside the Prime Minister's Green Legacy initiative of planting billions of tree seedlings every year. But the nation also prides itself for holding what the authorities have called the first free and fair election after decades of failed polls. The head of the Ethiopian National Electoral Board says the nation has achieved the formation of an independent electoral institution.
Above and beyond everything, all of our stakeholders have learned a lot because they have passed through this election process with us. They have learned how to accept our decisions, even if they were not convinced. There were no shortcuts to this. This is how we are supposed to build an independent institution for the nation. Many things were new to us, but all is now behind us, and I would like to acknowledge the efforts of stakeholders for working with us and walking the talk with us for the country to see free and fair elections.
Still, an opposition boycott, the war in northern region of Tigray, ethnic violence and logistical challenge in some areas overshadowed the election. Voting did not take place in 3 of Ethiopia's 10 regions. The Electoral Board says it will stage elections in the remaining areas next September.
That report from Ethiopia will take us to our first break. Still to come, it's more local and international news, so stay tuned.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome to Staples, the office superstore for all your office needs, office furnitures, office equipment, office kitchenwares, office stationery. Get all you need for your workplace. Office desks, chairs, workstation, conference table, computers, printers, monitors, sofas, filing cabinets, water dispensers, microwaves, ovens, air coolers, and lots more. Staples, the best superstore in the Gambia.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the news that's coming to you live on Africa TV, and I am Julden Jaisware. Now to the rest of our stories. Officials from the World Bank have renewed their commitment to supporting the developmental agenda of the Barrow-led government, especially in the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking after the official meeting with the Gambian leader at State House on Tuesday, the World Bank country director said the purpose of their visit is to congratulate the Barrow administration for their great economic management pass shown during the COVID-19 pandemic, among others. We have more of that in this report.
The advent of the global pandemic has ravaged economies around the world, and the Gambia is not an exception. But groups like the World Bank have since rolled out series of projects to strengthen the COVID-19 response in the Gambia. The World Bank country director, Nathan Belete, said they informed the president of the plans they have for the Gambia, and he was appreciative of them.
We were also able to inform the President of our future plans for collaboration in the Gambia, including our new country partnership framework, which we hope to submit to our board for approval in September. And in this partnership framework, we're hoping to expand and increase substantially the financial collaboration partnership we have with the Gambia.
The World Bank officials discussed a range of issues which were of importance to the president. One of them is the agriculture and food security and the important role this sector can play, not just increasing agricultural production for the country, but also from the perspective of household livelihood and its contribution to the overall economy.
In that discussion, he also highlighted the important role that the public sector has, but also the role that the private sector has to really take agriculture and the modernization of agriculture to a new level, which from our perspective we are fully aligned with. In addition to that, we discussed also the substantial engagement we've had in the health sector in terms of medical supplies, vaccine supplies, and this is again of great concern and interest to the President.
Part of their discussions also include the need for efficient and quick support for poor and vulnerable communities in the Gambia. The top diplomat said the World Bank is happy to partner with the government to provide the financial support to the national system. For iAfrica News, Binta Jallo.
The World Bank expressed commitment in supporting the developmental agenda of the Barrow-led administration. Now, South Africa has deployed soldiers to quell violence that erupted in the wake of jailing of former President Jacob Zuma. Violent protests reportedly escalated in recent days as the supporters of former South African leader demand for his release following the imprisonment of him last week. Whilst calling for calm, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa vowed to deal with the current situation. We have more of that in this report.
Torching of trucks, stoning of cars and demolition of other key infrastructure has been the order of the day for the past few days in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng provinces. The destruction started off as protests in support of former President Jacob Zuma. His supporters took to the streets to demand his immediate release from a 15-month imprisonment. Over the last week, the protests escalated into looting and arson. A visibly dejected President Cyril Ramaphosa told the nation that there is no rationalization of what has been witnessed here in the past week. The country's vaccination program has been severely disrupted by the violence. Some COVID-19 vaccination sites and clinics in the two provinces were closed due to safety concerns. Ramaphosa cautioned that the riots could also lead to food and medicine shortages in the next few weeks. Announcing the deployment of the South African National Defence Force, the president vowed to urgently deal with the current situation. Almost 500 suspects have been arrested thus far. Ramaphosa has called on religious leaders, trade unions, civil society, and concerned citizens to stand up and condemn the violence.
That's all we have for you on this news desk. For more of these and others, you can join us in our subsequent news bulletins. Many thanks indeed for the pleasure of your company, and do have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.
Our sun is running out. Our smiling coast is losing its beauty. Our women are losing their gardens, and our children are losing their future. Our communities infested with mosquitoes and crocodiles attacking and killing our children. Communities are in a state of devastation in exchange for new cities, new buildings, and new roads. Sand mining is not an alternative for the Gambia. Sand dredging is the solution. SMJ is a Gambian-owned company located at Denton Bridge. At SMJ, we dredge fine sand from sea without destruction. Sand dredged from sea is the best solution to keep developing our infrastructure to last a lifetime. SMJ is for a better future. Stop by Denton Bridge. Call us today on +220 277 7753.
Hello! There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, AfriCell has done it again. the limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#